Hi, Captain. How are you?
I'm fine. And I would start to say kippis to Mattias Forsman.
We were having our last sale for the season today, we think.
We think, yes.
Yeah. It is September 6th, and it's getting time to, put down the sails and pull down the sails, perhaps.
Unwillingly, yes.
Yes. And we started thinking about our boat life, or our boat lives, perhaps.
Yeah.
I am very much a non-boat person, or have been my entire life.
Land crab.
A land crab. I'm not sure if you say that in English, but in Swedish you do. Someone who's not been on a boat. But you have been on a boat.
I've been on many boats, actually.
Yeah. And perhaps you could tell the people who are watching our videos how it all started.
If we should start from the very, very early beginning, I was made in a sailboat, an old from 1900 or 1901 it was made, and my father owned it, and of course my mother was there. And then I grew up with a father who in the autumn usually found a project, mostly some planks almost, and then during winter renovated them and had them for the summer or maybe a year, because in the autumn he usually found another project. So I've been growing up with boats, sailboats, and my father was then racing a lot, sail racing, and he and his friends sailed very much IOD, International One Design class. They actually been over to the US some couple of times, and sailed the World Championship. So I kind of grew up with sailboats, and in my teens I went on a school ship, 3-masted schooner. We're gonna get some picture of that too. And I went there for 6 years. I was on there. I ended up as instructor, teacher, what you should call it. And then I moved to another city, neighbor city, and kept it up with another 3-masted schooner there, whose name was Havden. So 10 years with schooners, and then I paused sailing in my life, boats, until 2018.
19 when we bought the boat.
Bölje.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bölje, of course.
Until 2018, because I've been driving motorcycles until then. So it was time to find a new thing to put your time into.
Yeah, because we had been going on motorcycle vacations for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I started feeling I want to do something else. And then one day Anders came home and said, I have found a boat that I... This boat was going to be our next vacation spot, and we bought him in September 2018. So could you tell us a bit about that boat?
It became my nightmare. happy in the beginning. I bought it, I don't know the English name for it. The owner was dead and the family sold it and they didn't know anything about it. So I bought it should you call it unseen or something? I didn't have a clue about the boat. I got it cheap. But since I had many friends who know about motors and boats generally, I thought it was be no problem. And spent a lot of time fixing that boat, fixing all small problems, fixing kind of furniture and things like that. Made a kitchen, fixed the place for the toilet and everything, and soundproofing the engine room. And the biggest problem actually was the engine.
This was our only time that we actually went out with Bölje, the boat. And we only came outside the harbor. It was a lovely day, but you can see towards the end of the clip that Anders was by no means happy. The problem here is that the engine sounds okay, but every time Anders tries to rev it up, it dies. Instead of going faster, it dies on him. It is like there's too much petrol, too much fuel in the motor, and that makes it die. This is one of the problems that we tried to fix, and we could not, for the life of us, do anything about it. It's really sad, and it was also one of the things that made us so happy with River Song, that the engine actually did well when we used the engine. This is just outside the harbor where our boat is now as well. So this is a place we know very well, that we've sailed through a lot of times with River Song, and in much, much nicer circumstances. I don't know if you can hear in the background that Anders is trying to increase the speed, and the motor isn't answering. Sometimes I think about this, and I hope sincerely that the person who has the boat now has been able to solve this problem, because I think this boat could actually make someone happy. It was a very nice boat, but with a faulty engine.
It never went as it was supposed to. Finding one problem, fixing that, making another one. In Sweden, there's very usual engine, Volvo Penta, B20 Marine. Most of the mechanics, they learn on this engine in school, and I had 3 or 4 engine guys checking on it and fixing and doing, and nobody could tell what's wrong. I was actually ready to drill a hole in it and sink it somewhere just to get rid of it, because I was feeling very bad. My mood just went under, and yeah, it wasn't a good time. But I got it sold as it was to father and son. They were fixing boats, so this would be a good project for them, and I was just glad to get rid of it so I could go to the next thing. And then a friend of mine said, "Why don't you buy my boat? It's a Maxi 77 and everything is good, and if there is something trouble with it, just ask me and I'll fix it." And that's when River Song came into our life.
Yeah. But I remember when we bought River Song, we liked her from the beginning.
Yeah.
She is her name wasn't River Song then. She didn't have a name, but we named
She
her.
did have a name, and the first name of this boat was Pampas. And to my knowledge, it's never been changed until us. And the last owner didn't have a name. It was Pampas, but no name on it anywhere. It just called it the boat. So changed name from Pampas to River Song, and I think she liked it. It feels like that.
She has been very good to us this year, and if you compare our years, last year we had saved up quite a lot of money to be able to pay for the petrol for the motor.
Yeah.
And I mean, because it's a motorboat, and it
That would be about 24 liters an hour.
yeah. We didn't have to do that now because our little engine, we have actually measured it, and it runs
It's
on
quite exactly 1 liter diesel per hour.
Yeah. So we don't have to put so much money into fuel. That's nice. But we were working on her all through autumn.
Yeah.
We're working not so much during the autumn, but then we started as soon as the snow melted.
Yeah.
And we were working through even when Corona hit us.
Yeah, I mean, we were alone here. There was nobody here.
That's right. And we were scraping the keel.
You were scraping the hole.
I was scraping the hull and the keel.
Yeah.
And we're making sure.
Why did you do that?
I liked it.
Yeah. I was a bit tricky there because the hole below the waterline needed to be scraped because the paint was ship paint, hard freight ship paint. So we needed to take that off to put on the anti-fouling paint later. And since I knew Annika needed to have a connection to the boat, to like it, to care for it, I don't like scraping. I hate it. And I put Annika on scraping, and she liked it. Actually liked it.
I actually liked it. I thought it was. I work with my mind. Got an intellectual job, and going out on Saturdays and Sundays and scraping the hull, that was very calming. It was de-stressful.
And you connected to River Song.
I did. I was proud of my work.
Yeah, you should be.
She has a red anti-fouling now, and it looks very, very stylish when you see the waterline.
Yeah.
Because she's red. And also we're working. It was nice. We went to the boat and we had some coffee with us. And
yeah, we had a fika.
Yeah, the Swedish
Lots of fika.
And it was very cozy. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it got kind of scheduled because the weekend come, we go to the boat and fix there, and then we go back home again. And sometimes we were even here Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, but at least every Saturday we were here.
Yeah.
And it was a very nice way to kind of forget about Corona.
Yeah.
Because it was really bad in March and April, and we were here. So we were actually ready with the boat very early, so we could get it from the hard into the water around Easter.
Yeah.
I think it was Easter Eve that we got her into the water. And the good thing is that the motor started.
Yeah, no problem.
And I remember...
It's been sitting on the hard for 2 years. But yeah, we actually have... there are on our YouTube channel, we have smaller videos from when we splashed her.
I remember me feeling very relieved because I know how hard this hit Anders when Bölje didn't start.
I went really under.
Yeah, and it was such a great relief when it actually worked. So here we are now, after our first season as sailors. What is your...
I don't want to cut the season yet.
I know you don't want to.
Today we started taking away things, so we put the mainsail down, gonna take it home, we took the boom down and some smaller things, but I kept the head sail. Because maybe there's gonna be a nice weekend or something and we can go out and just sail with the head sail.
But let's just say at least it's drawing to its close. It's not there yet,
Yeah,
but it's drawing to its close.
From the beginning, it's drawing to the end, yes.
So how would you summarize our first season as sailors?
Good. Promising for the next one. We have started to know the boat, what we want to do with it, what we want to change and take away or put in and everything. We started to know river.
And the best thing about this season for me has been, of course, learning how to sail.
Yeah, you've been a good student.
And I have loved this feeling of having your house with you all the time. You come into the harbor. We haven't anchored that much this season. We've anchored 3 times.
Yep.
4 times.
But not during the night.
No.
Just been, what you call it, bathing tours.
Yeah. Because we have a very nice place about an hour and a half of going time with about 5 knots from here. I'm not sure how far it is, but it takes about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which is like a bay, and it's very secluded and not a lot of traffic going by.
No.
And it's about 5 to 8 meters deep, so it's perfect. And there are no jellyfish, because there's quite a lot of jellyfish here on the west
There
coast.
is a fish farm close up, though.
There is, yeah. And we've been able to be there. The first time we were there, we actually just wanted to see what it was like to anchor.
Yeah, try it.
And the second time, we were there with my friend and her family.
Yeah.
Where we
The Kiwis?
The Kiwis, yeah. At least he is. And just anchored and had lunch and enjoyed ourselves. And then the third time, it was a very, very, very warm day.
Yes.
So we could lie on the deck and sunbathe and skinny dip. That was wonderful.
Yeah, we were sunbathing in our birthday suits.
Yeah. And the fourth time, we just went outside of our home harbor. It was also an extremely warm day.
Yes.
We just needed, to get some cool water on our bodies.
We just went a half nautical mile outside the harbor and just dipped the anchor and swam around.
Yeah. And it was extremely wonderful. And I think that what I've learned is that I still don't like leaning or incline or whatever you call it when the boat is not when the boat is more than 15 degrees inclined to one way. Then I don't like it.
But you learn how to cope with it.
But I'm learning to cope, yeah. I do love it when we are sailing and we do about 3 or 4 knots on a warm day when there is just enough wind so that we can sail for about 3 or 4 knots.
Yeah.
And you hear the water around you and it goes...
You hear it more when it goes faster.
If we don't want to go out one day, but we want to be by the sea, we can just
sit here.
We can sit here. We can have lunch and dinner and coffee, and we have a little, not a fridge, but like a fridge.
Cool box.
Yeah, a cool box, which is perfectly in working order. But
And we are going, not trying to, but we are going to get solar panels.
Yeah.
Mostly to save the batteries and be able to have the cool box.
And just be able to next season, at least during the summer, to anchor more.
Yeah.
Because I think we both would like
Or
to...
nature harbors,
Yeah.
or things like that.
Because we've been in a nature harbor once,
Yeah.
and we liked that experience. It
Yeah.
was very nice.
It's also nice when you can find a place where it's not crowded.
Yeah. But the thing is, with the West Coast, there are so many places you can go to. There are so many harbors, both natural harbors and normal guest harbors. And there are also lots of anchorages. So you can find a secluded space if you want to, even during peak season. And I love that about the West Coast. Of Sweden, I should say. I don't know about anything about Denmark or Norway. But in Sweden, here on the West Coast, there are so many places you can go to. So... I'm looking forward to off-season. I'm looking forward to doing all the projects.
Yeah, we're gonna try to document as much as we can.
Yeah.
We're gonna put new, I don't know the name for it, but you have them to lock the halyards, and gonna put them up here. And we're gonna try to fix the roof, because it's not pretty. That's the only thing. It's
perfectly in workable order, but it's not pretty.
It's not pretty. So we're gonna try to fix that, and I'm gonna try to fix a control panel where we can keep the VHF, which I'm gonna install too, because we have a hands-free VHF now, and some circuits and things gonna put up.
And just general maintenance, change the oil, make sure the motor is winter.
Yeah, there's a whole list of things we're gonna do. We can't tell everything.
And also one thing I'm looking forward to is just making sure that the outside of the boat is pretty as well.
Yeah.
It was not something I thought too much about last off season, but now I see the reason for why you want to buff and prim and scrub and everything.
It's going to be interesting to see how the hull is when we take it up. If it's green or red, or
it might
red green,
quite green, I think.
Yeah.
Not too many barnacles, I hope.
No. Shouldn't be. So to all of our friends, fans, whatever, please subscribe. We always like new fans, and safe sailing.
Bye.